goodness. Felicia, we are in the forest. I'm so excited for us to go camping for the first time together. Oh, Felicia, I think I heard a twig snap. Could it be? I hear the screams of little screams coming everywhere. A choir of them.
Is that a giant rabbit?
Is that Obi-Wan Kenobi as a flesh rabbit? Is that weird chicken from Zelda Twilight Princess that helps you get out of caves dressed in Easter colors?
Is that the big plant from Little Shop of Horrors?
If Georgia O'Keeffe designed the costume?
Is that Nigel Thornberry, but if he was an elephant?
Is that my mealworm from 3rd grade that had to grow for a project that never turned into a beetle, but became a disastrous monster? It is,
oh my
Felicia.
God. Elaine, look to your left. We're not even in the forest. We're on the set of the sci-fi show Face Off.
Oh, I knew I took a wrong turn.
Who's that over there? I don't know the name of the host. Hold on.
Oh, it starts with an M. I'm going to go with Madison.
Is that Mackenzie Westmore?
Do you know what's chaotic? I was like, what's the M version of Jessica? And Mackenzie is the answer. Mackenzie is the M version of right. Jessica.
Is that Mackenzie? No, I forgot her name. Is that Mackenzie Westmore? Is that Lucy Dahl? What a crazy place we're in.
Oh my goodness.
That's right. Today we're covering the What a Doll episode of the season of
season
6, episode 10 of Face Wars. This was suggested by our listener, Micah.
Face Off.
Face Off.
Face Wars.
I called it, okay, so in my notes, I had this called Skin Wars for legitimate months because we had just done the Cake Wars episode and there's another show called Skin Wars, so my brain is just kind of put it all together and was like, it's Skin Wars, that's what we're, no, it's a Face Wars. This was suggested by our listener, Micah.
No, it's Face Off.
Face Off. It's Face Off. This episode of Face Off was suggested by our listener, Micah. Thank you, Micah. We really enjoyed checking out this delicious little treat from the past. From 2014, it was. Welcome to Wonka Watch. This is a podcast where we talk about all the things in the world of Wonka, and sometimes mildly related to the world of Wonka. In fact, even some would consider distant from the world of Wonka. We're like 3 steps removed from Wonka at this point.
We're in the fun house mirror room of Wonka. Like, that's definitely Wonka, but what are you looking at?
Yeah, it's like, okay, it's not Wonka. It's a Skin Wars episode about kind of Wonka, maybe.
It is Face-Off episode of
oh my God.
Oh, this is going to be so fun.
It's going to be a long fucking episode.
This is going to be so fun.
My name's Felicia.
My name's Elaine.
I don't know what the show's called.
Brains on, but the face is off here. And as I peel off my mask, I'm Wonka Watch. But
you've been turned by a special effects artist into the tangible form of Wonka Watch News.
Yes. What do you imagine that as? Like, I imagine like a jellyfish that
because you talked about peering off your face, I was picturing more meaty, but I don't want it to be that.
Like a meat jellyfish?
I would love a newspaper jellyfish. That's actually kind of fucking sick.
That's adorable. Okay. I love it. Newspaper jellyfish. That's the sound they make.
Hey, Newsy. We just have this like a newspaper jellyfish puppet we introduced. Hey, Newsy. This show just has like so many fucking characters that don't even.
I'm so excited to tell you all the Wonka Watch news. Here you go, Felicia. Hope you enjoy.
So we're kind of in that era of Wonka Watch news where like they're kind of it's just Timothy Chalamet saying the same thing but with
Are
like
you
3 words
fucking
different.
Lying to me?
I'm not lying.
Are you gonna truth me today?
I can link you to the Collider article.
You're gonna tell me another cute story of a tavern song
this
to lift
isn't
a
good
girl's
enough
heart?
to make up. So apparently Timothy Chalamet went directly from working on Bones and All, which is currently in theaters, to Wonka.
Wow. Cannibal to Chocolate
This
Theater.
tells us nothing we don't already know. But guys, there's not much. It's just him saying the same thing he said, like with like a slightly different. It's like he's telling it at a different lunch. You know when you have the anecdote you tell all your friends for a week?
Yeah.
I was immediately working doing the vocal and dance training at Leavesden, which was wonderful because I went from playing a disenfranchised cannibal on the outskirts of American society in the 80s to a gifted young chocolatier and now a space prophet. I forgot about Dune. I was really fucking confused.
I was like, whoa, what happens in Wonka?
Elevator,
Space prophet? Elevator. Yeah, I was like, no.
Also, can I suggest that because I went from playing a disenfranchised cannibal on the outskirts of American society in the 80s to a disenfranchised chocolatier on the outskirts of British society in the 1880s. That would be fun.
God. That would be fun.
And the Collider article added, he'll be doing it by performing 7 musical numbers in the upcoming feature. I think we're going to read that quote quite a lot.
Mm-hmm.
Something we haven't seen him do yet. Well, you have. You just haven't looked for it. You can see him song and dance.
Yes, it exists. It was the first thing we ever got to report on.
He revealed that was something I was very excited to jump into right away, further disclosing that King had, this is the only new piece of information, built a literal dance studio in one of the lots at Leavesden in London at Warner Bros. So he's gonna be dancing. And that's all I have to offer.
I'm wondering how many more big dances we're going to have than I originally thought. Because I thought it was going to be one of those, like, there's moderate dancing, but it's not as intense. But, like, I kind of want some... Bring me some Gene Kelly. Bring me back that old Hollywood. Where to go?
He's doing a fucking quick step.
They don't do movies the way they used to. Why? It's like, Janet, we don't want to do blackface anymore. Hope you don't mind.
Timothy Chalamet is about to go on Dancing with the Stars. He's like, actually, I learned all of these for Wonka, and they all got cut. So
Timothy Chalamet on Dancing with the Stars is an interesting.
If he ends up on Dancing with the Stars, his career has gone down.
As you just said, Dancing with the Scars. Yes, that is.
Yeah, I'm just renaming shows.
I like them better. Dancing with the Scars.
Face Wars.
Face Wars. It's so good.
It's very violent.
It really is. I like the intensity of all of it. I think it raises the stakes.
All right, should we dive into Face Off?
Let's beat our faces.
This is a 2014 competition of prosthetic makeup artists from the channel Sci-Fi. We don't know anything about the rest of the season. I'll be honest, the video we watched of it was flipped to avoid like copyright and stuff, so I didn't really catch most people's names either.
I was able to find a version on my TV that was flipped the other way, so I got
was it because of your Discovery Plus subscription?
I honestly, it was like on a free YouTube TV thing, so I had to watch an insane amount of ads.
Oh, I had to watch an insane amount of ads on mine too.
So it ended up working out, but we have Rashad, Tyler, George, Chloe, Graham, Nico, and Darren. I might be missing somebody, but I think that's everybody. So we have like a handful of people. 1, 2, 3, 4.
I looked up who won the season. Spoilers for season 6 of Face Off. But Rashad ended up winning the season.
Oh, good.
Wang and Doodle himself, which we'll talk about. Wang and Doodle.
Wang and Doodle, my favorite lawyer.
They sent them to the Kids Space Museum in Pasadena, California, and introduced the challenge of creating prosthetic makeup creations based on Roald Dahl's characters never seen on screen because it's the 50th anniversary of the Charlie and the Chocolate Factory. And then Mackenzie Westmore, is that it?
Oh, that is. No, sorry. I'm shaking my head at something.
She did say Roald Dahl, and it's like the only time I've seen it because that is the correct pronunciation. But then at the end, she kind of went back to Roald. She was like Roald Dahl.
I tried to write it down. Roald Dahl. Errol Dahl, I'm pretty sure was said at one point. Like Errol Dahl. And I was like, Roald Dahl. I'm like, I thought it was just Roald. Like, I thought that I distinctly remember a lesson I learned.
Okay, so most Americans pronounce it Roald, but because he's Norwegian, the pronunciation is technically Rual. Which is why Walt Disney gave him the nickname Stocky, because he couldn't pronounce his name. That's why.
Rual. That's a flashback to Alyssa
I
Edwards
acknowledge his name
Race.
is pronounced Rual. I'm still going to pronounce it Roald because Roald Wonka rolls off the tongue a lot better than Rual Wonka.
And I just learned how to say it, and there's a lot. There's a lot going on. Okay, but
and everyone else on the show said it the Roald way.
Okay. The Roald way.
Yes.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, this was a weird setting. I thought like they didn't even go in the museum. They just went to the playground. I was like, why did you bust them out there?
It's like in Project Runway when they make them do their sketches in a fucking park.
Yeah.
Did you actually know? Did you know, Elaine?
Tell me a fun fact.
Project Runway did an episode where they went to the set of Charlie and the Chocolate Factory on Broadway, and Christian Borle was there, and I did watch it to see if it evolved into something episode worthy, but he was there for all of 4 minutes.
Can you let me know? Can you text me the episode? And
I'll find you the
because
link.
I'm very passionate about my Project Runway.
Me too.
Oh, perfect.
There's part of me that's like, did I watch this without knowing my future, what my future would be? Do you know what I mean? Like, because I love Project Runway, and it was an unconventional materials challenge, and that's my favorite.
Oh, yes.
And I got on a big Project Runway binge in college, and I'm like, shit, is this?
The seeds were planted all along, and now the tree is there, the roots so deep it cannot be uprooted.
Anyway, but here's the big thing. Lucy Dahl, his daughter, is there. So that was cool and new.
I really liked that. I
She
thought that
was
was
good.
cute.
She was very natural on the show.
Yeah.
She felt very in her element. I felt like she could have been the host, to be honest, half the time.
Truly, I would love to know what she's doing now, and yeah, she seemed right at home.
Yeah, so the people can get wang doodles, hornswogglers, vermicious canids, and snozwangers. And Lucy Dahl said they were only described as living in the thickest of jungles and the most dangerous beasts in the world. Which... The vicious canids, they weren't, though. There's a whole book about the vermicious canids.
They're in space.
There are multiple drawings.
Okay, to be fair, Felicia, how do we define a forest? Is space not but a forest of burning stars and flying rocks? What makes a salad versus a cereal? These are all just
You know what, though?
opinions.
That line, I think, is what Gene Wonka says about those when he's in the factory. Like, oh, the natural predators of the Oompa Loompa, the hornswogglers, the wangdoodles, they only live in the thickest of jungles, right? Like, I'm pretty sure that's what he says.
Yeah.
So they just didn't take book canon into account, which was weird with their insistence on the rolled stuff. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. I will grant them grace with the vermicious canids. Because they would have been like asterisk.
But it
Let's
was
discuss
every
the
time
purple.
the guy who got vermicious canids being like, there has never been a drawing or a creation of these ever. I'm like, what about the chicken McNugget, Darren?
Yeah, I'm
what
like,
about the chicken McNugget?
Quentin Blake has been disgraced.
How dare you slander the name of Joseph Schindelman like this?
He walked so you could run.
They both walked so you could run.
He lifted
Put
you
your
up so you
pink
could
bunny
stand
back
on
from
mountains.
Put that pink bunny from whence it came.
Oh my
We'll talk about the fucking
We will get
Energizer
there.
Bunny later.
We will get there.
The challenge exactly is to make a creature inspired by the name and Roald Dahl's work, and they have to pull big crayons to figure out what they have. And Lucy Dahl tells them to exaggerate the truth and imagine what would eat an Oompa Loompa. So that's the whole thing. They're the predators of Oompa Loompas.
Mm-hmm.
So one thing to note is that all the prosthetic makeup, it's all prosthetic makeup, which means the creatures and the ideas they come up with have to be at least in some capacity humanoid, which I think threw me off for a lot of them. Just because I don't expect that from Roald Dahl stuff.
Yeah.
I made peace with it as the episode went on, but it took a lot of adjustment where I was like, that's just a guy. I was like,
Right.
Like,
I had a weird moment where I slowly realized, oh, this is turning into a nightmare for me because I don't do well with that stuff. I don't do well. Oh my gosh, his name is slipping me. It's slipping me. The guy who does all the cool puppet stuff in like Labyrinth. He's so big and well known in the movie
Jim
industry.
Henson?
Jim Henson. There we go. I just couldn't remember it for a second. I realized
okay. He does the Muppets too, Elaine.
yes, Jim Henson. There we go. But anyway, I realized as they were like putting this stuff together, I was like, oh God, this is my like Jim Henson nightmare because that shit scares me. And I had to watch it slowly happen before my eyes. It was cool to get to watch it. I've never seen this show. So I loved watching it. But I did start having spookies because I don't have a huge thing against mannequins, but there were a lot of mannequins in there, and I was like, what the fuck does this place look like at night? Because it's all these like
it would be a little spooky scary. Ugh. They start drawing them, and the guy who has the vermicious canids, this is what I was talking about earlier, like, this is amazing. Nobody has ever seen them. There's no references at all, but it's just because it's genuinely false for the vermicious canids. And it's okay. I understand. I would have loved to see a Ganuli take. I would have loved to see their take on a Ganuli.
Oh my gosh.
But also you can't see Ganulis. You can't see them until they touch you. So like anything would be incorrect. Anyway.
Yeah.
So this guy's, the first guy's interpretation of the Vermicious Kinid is a rabbit creature in a big robe with sharp teeth that eats Oompa Loompas. And we need to talk about this fucking Energizer Bunny, Evil Easter, Five Nights at Freddy's.
Yes, because there's a weird like chest mouth happening as well.
Yeah,
like
the
you
chest
have the
mouth.
bunny
And they didn't
head
talk
and then
about
a
the chest mouth.
They
And he's
didn't.
holding like a magical potion.
In fact, I really don't. The judges really did not discuss much of it on air, and I thought, no, there's a lot to comment about here, and I'm confused because the face.
It's also the
to
most
me-
humanoid too.
Yes, because the face doesn't have as much actual additional makeup on it. Like it is just paint on the face a little bit with like
It
added-
almost looks
it's
like a
too
furry
close.
art.
It was Friar Tuck, Energizer Bunny, Energy.
Yes.
Friar Tuck from specifically Fox Disney Robin Hood version.
Understandable. So the Snozwangers dude, Graham, goes for an elven approach with a creepy mouth that lays traps for the Oompa Loompas with snozberries. And this is the Nigel Thornberry looking one. But
Oh, yes.
I think it's pretty fucking fun.
It's good. And I think it really does kind of embody just all those quirky little elements of like, okay, yeah, you got a weird elephant man who's got the shrunken heads of Oompa Loompas on his hip.
He's got his eyes coming out of his hat.
He's like both
Fuck yeah,
silly
man.
and creepy, which
Yeah,
is a fun
It was a good
combo.
sweet spot for me. So then there's Chloe. She also has Vermicious Canids, and she goes for something Venus flytrap based, which I wasn't interested in this. I thought that was an interesting approach for the Vermicious Canids. It was way more on track than the fucking rabbits.
Yes.
And then I wrote down a quote from Tyler, who had Wang Doodles, and this is what he said in his confessionals. I got Wang Doodles, doodles, noodles, worms, insects, and then bam. So that was how he came up with these. He did his actually looked kind of like a Vermicious Canid, I'm gonna be honest.
Yes. I liked it too. Like, I'm okay if it's not going to be a soggy chicken nugget. It can definitely be that horrifying worm beast.
Yeah, it was like a jack-o'-lantern that a bunch of worms got on that had a body.
It was
His
too
was
good.
the spookiest, like the genuinely
Yes.
scariest.
Yeah, I imagine that running up to me and slapping me in the face, and I didn't like it. And so therefore it was good. I liked it.
Yes, they have like 3 days to work on this, so it's not short. There's a lot of drama with like molds and things like that. Some people are making full body molds.
The polyfoam isn't sticking.
Yeah, and the one guy's full body mode was a mistake.
I did learn something very valuable though. If you want to get good like saliva, that look, as one judge helpfully told someone, just put a little KY jelly in there to juice it up.
There was also a big thing
like,
about
you
using
just
hairspray
lube?
and brown paint to make dirt. And then the one guy was like, man, I used the hairspray and brown paint and it really did work. And they were like, he's always right.
I'm sorry, is this Rudy Giuliani's makeup kit?
Yeah, literally.
I was like, what the hell? It was great. Learn something new.
The one guy is making the hornswogglers be deceptively cute. We'll get to the hornswoggler guy. And then this was what I was talking about with the Wang and the Doodle. One guy who ends up spoilers ends up winning the season is making a Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde situation for the Wang Doodles, leading to the great quote, Wang is more of the serious side and Doodle is more of the silly side. I lost my mind when he said that. I was just like...
God. That is so funny. And his stuff, it reminded me of like an artsy Groot.
Yeah.
Like if Groot went to art school.
Yeah, he kind of has a blazer on. We'll talk about him later.
We'll get later,
Elaine
yeah.
apparently wrote detailed descriptions, and I have some photos that...
Oh, perfect.
There was a lot of drama with the girls' Vermicious Canids.
Oh.
Also, the Wang and Doodle one from earlier captures Oompa Loompas, and he eats them if they don't sing a song he likes. So that was cool. But yeah, the Vermicious Canid girl just did not have enough time to do everything she wanted, and I felt bad for her, so...
Yeah.
Shall we discuss the actual... God, I'm looking at this fucking chicken thing. Let's talk about these. So the first Hornswoggler made by Darren, I don't know what is going on with this coat. It looks very like Three Kids in a Trench Coat, but I think the face is pretty fucking sick.
The face is, so I described this, if this is the one I think it is, Baby Yoda on meth, don't do drugs. And then also Shape of Water Wonka.
Yeah, no, I like
because this thing is really tall and it has a long cloak and it has like a top hat, I'm pretty sure, at one point. And I just was like, this is weird. This is like, it's dressed like Wonka and doing things. So I am genuinely terrified of this thing.
I think
it's Fickle Grubber on meth.
Is it bad that I think he looks friendly?
Not really. I think like the face is kind of scary, but I think if it started,
but from like 8 feet away, we have a picture from afar and a picture up close. From afar, he freaks me out. Up close, I'm like, that's just Jared.
It's just Jared. He's asking for his cup of sugar.
Yeah, it very much looks like a Star Wars Cantina extra. He's got blue hair. That's fun.
Yeah, he's got 4 horns. He's got a
forehead.
forehead.
Like,
a
I'm
nose,
making it kind of like a snake or a lizard, and kids like that, so it's fine.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Wait. He said it's coming out lizardy and froggy, and kids like both. And I was like, and I'm a child, and I love those.
Okay, so now we have to talk about the other, the elephant
God.
in the room, the other hornswaggler.
Nico.
This looks like a Phineas and Ferb character. It has the stupidest cartoony eyes. And in his voiceover, Nico says, he doesn't look evil. He just looks like a chicken. I'm actually really worried at this point.
I love the self-awareness. I mean, you gotta remember, so when he's making this mold, it was 200 pounds. And unfortunately,
to
make this, he didn't have enough time to fully paint it. So it's just like flesh-toned everything, the teeth, the body, and the way that, Felicia, I didn't know, and I should have understood, the way that on Project Runway, they go to like do the catwalk to show off the clothes, right? They like walk in front of a screen and they're just a shadow, and then they're like strutting down the aisle. And I didn't realize that the models wearing these stuff will start walking and acting like the creature they are. And so when the first person started hunch running out into the thing, I was like, oh, and then the light came on. It like dramatically turned its head and started waggling its little claws. I was like, oh my God, we're all adults watching this. I love it. And I was so fucking scared and like thrown off. It makes sense. I just wasn't mentally prepared for that.
It's journey. Also they're in front of like a jungle green screen too.
Yeah. And so to have this naked ass chicken.
Also, he's wearing like a diaper.
It is. The pants make no sense.
One of the judges said that he thought it would be subject to gang beatings by the Oompa Loompas, which was insane.
I was like, holy God, that judge, Glenn, he was just saying the most insane things, I feel like. Yeah.
Out of pocket every time. Yeah, it looks like a weird diaper dinosaur baby. I don't like it.
I don't. And the way the hands are just human hands,
yeah,
which it does not fit with the rest of the
It looks like a person, and the problem is he did a full body mold. And it just looks like a person wearing a weird mask.
Because his eyes, they're like Sid from Ice Age. You know, like we have a lot of quirky. And I feel like I would have really liked this if he had time to like paint it and stuff.
And maybe
like,
if the eyes weren't as bloody around the edges.
Yeah, that right eye.
Seen better days.
It looks like a meatball that fell from the spaghetti.
Seeing. Okay, if you take off those weird, stupid, fucking goofy eyes and look just at the bottom of the face and the nose, seeing those noses. I think that was the idea, was that's the actual face and the eyes up there are like decoys. Because that's what he was talking about. They're like, but he didn't explain it well. Because he was talking like it starts out looking cute, but then it gets scary. Do you know what I mean?
I wish he had just gotten rid of the eyes then. I didn't follow that.
Yeah, there's kind of a spooky face going on underneath.
Yeah, because that's spooky down there. Yeah, if I don't see it as a nose and it's suddenly eyes, oh no.
Yeah, so let's talk about Wang and Doodle, our friends Wang and Doodle.
Wang and Doodle.
So we have the earthworm creature over here that has a little bit of Oompa Loompa hair in his mouth. He's fucking scary. Good. He looks like a pumpkin that a biker would get tattooed on his back.
Oh my gosh.
It's giving very Heidi Klum Halloween costume.
Yeah, it really is. This is like couple's costume. This would have been the other
But if
person.
someone had to do a humanoid interpretation of a vermicious Canid, this is great.
Yeah, and it was creepy too because there was enough. The mask was set so well that even though it was thick, the model doing facial expressions, you could still very much see it. Like the brow still furrowed, which made it creepier because it could move so easily facially. Yeah. I don't know. I was like,
they kept wiggling the fingers.
I was like, yeah, that model was having the time of their life, wiggling their little talons, like little.
Yeah, it's giving very fecal matter, but that's okay.
It's fine.
Next up, let's talk about Wang and Doodle, played by Mr. Jim Carrey himself, as it looks like in these.
God.
It's giving the Jim Carrey, or what's the character that Martin Short plays in the Santa Claus movies?
Jack
Frost. I mean,
yes.
he's just Jack Frost.
I've
never seen them, but the ad showed up a lot on the DVDs I owned.
Look at the full body picture you have here. Are you ready?
Yeah.
I feel like this is potentially a Tumblr sexy man.
No, you're so fucking right. This is a Tumblr sexy man. It's extraordinarily humanoid.
Yeah.
And he's got like a big blazer. It looks like Wonka. It looks like if Wonka is an alien space race, this is like his grandpa.
Yes.
Like if he's on some Gallifreyan Doctor Who shit, this is like one of his brethren who got frozen in cryo freeze back in 2004 and now is split into separate personalities, Wang and Doodle. Like, I would love to watch this guy and Wonka face off in a game of riddles, but I don't see him as an Oompa Loompa. You know what I mean? He looks like he tells riddles exclusively.
Yeah,
and
I don't see him being a vicious murderer.
This motherfucker guards a bridge. That's his job. He guards a bridge.
He yells at goats who try to cross over it, and he's like, no. Yeah, I don't see him being like a vicious murderer unless he looks like a White Walker. Like, I'm getting
He
Game
looks
of
like
Thrones.
a judge on Project Runway. Like, it's...
I don't really like the pleats. Yeah.
He didn't make it work.
Oh, no. He looks like a hot stepdad, but in a weird way.
No.
Not Tim Gunn.
Okay.
To be clear.
Now let's talk about the fucking Vermicious Canids. This one's unfortunate.
Oh, no one hit it.
I'm gonna be honest. I kind of like this weird fucking Audrey 2 looking ass. Because there's something homemade about it. And like, if you had this on a table as a little puppet in a background shot, I think it's fun. And honestly, it felt very Roald Dahl-ish. I hate to say it. Do I think it should have won? No. But I kind of liked it.
It wasn't for me. This is the one that was supposed to be Baby Yoda on meth in my notes, because you zoom out and this plant creature is wearing a giant burlap sack. So if you look at the head part, it's pretty cool, but like the rest is just a person being like, I'm
saying we take out the head part separately and we put that in a little plant pot. It's kind of sick.
Okay. And yeah, I could see this being a little drawing in the book. So yeah, I get it. It looks like a watermelon that's gone through some emotional damage. And there's nothing wrong with that. I just don't know if I'm like Vermicious Canid, and I'm trying to remove my knowledge of it. I'm just thinking of the
I'm going to be honest. If I had to pick one of these as a Vermicious Canid, I'm picking this one, though.
Yeah, for sure. For sure I'd be picking this one over.
Let's talk about this weird Benedict Cumberbatch, bunny,
Gandalf, Hopper,
I don't know how to say this without it making me sound like I'm making weird sections. He looks like the leader of a sex cult, and I don't.
No, you're not wrong. Because he has that.
Thank you.
You're not wrong. He does have Jared Leto vibes.
Such a low V on the road to show off the chest mouth.
It's a little.
It just feels fucking weird.
The way that the model isn't just walking. The model has fully committed to the bunny hop pose while being like, "Ooh, I'm a
another Jim Carrey role."
Obi-Wan Kenobi fucks a rabbit and has heartburn is how I describe this in my notes.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You must have wrote that. You probably wrote that only a few hours ago, which I like how you're surprised by. Because I didn't write my notes until this morning, so that's how I know you didn't. Because I didn't see your notes on there when I wrote to
Yeah, no, I try to watch things day of because I just forget everything. Evidently, I'm here and I'm still forgetting stuff.
Well, I'm glad you got the same vibes from that and it wasn't my fucked up thing.
No.
All right, last but not least, let's talk about the fucking Snoz Wangers. The Snoz Wangers.
Let's spill the tea on those snozzy wangers. I fucking love this thing.
I think this thing is great, and I'm going to be honest, I think it should have won. Spoiler alert, it didn't win, but I think this should have won.
I agree. I think it hit all of the things. Like, it's both quirky, definitely scary, but still fun enough that I feel like it could be digestible as a children's like evil character.
The other
like,
one, it just felt like they were like, you made something so fucking spooky. What an icon. And I'm like,
Yeah.
no, but this guy hit the fucking brief. This Nigel Thornberry, it looks like a parasite took over an elephant.
Yes.
Like, it looks like a
Yes.
creature is wearing an elephant skin. And I mean that in the best way. It's spooky, but it's great.
And the way that it's set up is that it has an elephant nose. It's not too long, but it definitely flops around. And then the mask is just the mouth is straight up open and the throat looks like it's go back forever and has like shark teeth and really big ears. And its eyes are really long, like a snail kind of thing, but they're so long they poke through his hat.
And they are like poking out of the eye sockets in a weird way that it looks like they weren't its original eyes.
I will say, the one thing that took me out of it was that the model's legs were painted but still there, and they were really nice legs. And I just kept looking at the legs being like, whoa, creepy monster, nice legs. And I was like, interesting legs. Delightful little calves you have there. Oh,
looks like
frogs.
you're going on a little journey.
Oh my, do you frequently go on an
Sign
elliptical?
me up for the safari.
Ooh.
Anyway. But this one had the most details, and I thought this had the highest praise because Lucy Dahl was like, I wish my father could be here because he would be delighted by this. It's very Nigel Thornberry. Tim Curry could voice this and it would be magical. What did you write? Expose yourself.
I also said Eliza Thornberry's dad turned zombie, but then I also said a Brit who gets the wrong amount of sugar in his tea. Am I right?
What the fuck? Wow.
Tell me I'm wrong. Tell me I'm wrong.
But wow.
Yeah.
It's so evocative.
It's a gift.
But here is the thing. I was fucking blindsided by each of these. Oh my god. I need you to know, I dropped my computer, not my computer, my microphone, and it landed on my mouse, and it opened a full screen face photo of the creepy fucking Wang Doodle earthworm thing, the one with the hair in its mouth, full screen, which was not even on my screen currently, so I don't know how it clicked on it. Like,
Oh
I was
my
scrolling
God.
completely away from it. I just landed on it, and then he was just staring at me, and I was like, "Hello."
Is this the start of your horror movie?
I don't know. Man.
Am I the last person that gets to see you alive before the like?
I think so.
The horn little girl snarling when I get
No,
you.
it's Swoggle. No, that was the Wang Doodle. Fuck.
Wang Doodle.
Noodle.
Wang Doodle.
Noodle.
Wang
Worm.
and Doodle.
Insect. Bam.
Well, it sucks because I'm like, that's exactly how I think through things too, though. Like, please.
He was
I
very
like,
charismatic. I believe
Yeah.
in his vision. But here was the big upset of the episode. I thought the fucking Nigel Thornberry elephant snozwanger had it in the bag.
Yeah.
But in
same.
a twist ending, Tyler the Earthworm guy won. And it really surprised me, but it's okay. And then I was genuinely shocked that Chloe, the vermicious canid, lettuce vagina, was eliminated.
Yes.
Because they were fucking making fun of that chicken to the ends of the earth.
They really were. I will say,
They were
'cause,
like, this show's poor time management. This thing fucking sucks.
Yeah, I think like because the bottom two were lettuce vagina and naked Zelda chicken.
Phineas and Ferb chicken.
Phineas and Ferb chicken. And I wasn't actually too shocked just based on editing. And I kind of realized like everything was just panicked, I guess, with hers. But I respect the shock there because like, yeah, the chicken was a lot, but I think he might have had more together. But I could tell it wasn't going to go great when Glenn, the judge, I didn't get to write down the whole quote, but he called Chloe's lettuce vagina the prostitute cousin of Marjorie. And then I left off because I was just stupefied by it. Looks like the prostitute cousin of someone. I'm like, the prostitute cousin? Comparing something to look like someone's cousin who is a prostitute is a really
If you're gonna
niche
say
thing
it,
to
say it about the fucking sex cult bunny, okay?
Yeah.
Say-
Yeah, you're gonna call that Venus flytrap rapidly put together the prostitute cousin of Marjorie, who I don't know who Marjorie is, but you're gonna look at this bunny who's a little too sexual and too flesh toned and be like, sure. I don't know.
But that over there is perfectly, that's the American dream, baby. Chloe kosher
say-
American secular values.
I will say Nico's chicken hornswoggler, it has happy little dino eyes. Little dinosaur
I'm gonna be honest,
eyes.
I hate that thing. It makes me the most uncomfortable out of anything on this list by a wide margin.
It is
It's the blood around the eyes, but it's not in a good way. I just hate looking at it.
It's got boobs and it doesn't need them and they're too low.
I can see is it wearing a bra?
It looks like it's wearing a nice balconette, you know? And then it has a little not beer belly, but something
pregnant.
The way this it's funny because this was the pose that the model stayed in forever and Felicia's taking a beautiful screenshot. It's a wide stance. And then the person has lifted their hands up like they're about to go honka on some nice big boobies or something. And then the eyes, like, look at the smirk of this monster
It's
and
like,
the eyes like squinting. It's like,
This looks like the worst fucking guy at a party. Like,
Steve, no! Steve,
Stop!
You weren't invited. Steve!
There's a 3-drink cutoff, Steve!
Oh, those are nice. Can I squeeze them? No, Steve!
Steve keeps double dishing the fucking nachos! Stop it, Steve!
Yum, yum, nom, nom, nom. Steve,
He's
stop
just-
eating
He's
the bowl.
He's just drinking the cheese sauce whole, just slurping it down.
He just ate my grandmother's china. Delicious.
Guys, for this party.
I had so much fun. I'll see you guys around town, okay?
He's the guy who thinks, like, I'm just a little guy. I can't do anything wrong. You wouldn't hurt a little guy. It's that.
Yes. Yep. You want to...
I'm a golden retriever boy. Get the fuck out of here. Get the fuck out of here.
I don't know what this means, but I feel like if Steve, this chicken thing, fell, all of his body parts would fall off and he'd start giggling as they crawled back to him to reassemble him.
Oh my god.
Because you know what I learned, Felicia? If you take a tarantula, this is a real fact. You take a tarantula and if you drop it, its legs pop off. And that's just it. Like, its legs pop off like a Mr. Potato Head.
That's insane.
What do I do with that? I was told that at a party and it was midnight. And I was like, fuck you. I can't deal with that right now.
And who
I'm going
told
through
you?
a
Was
lot.
it this fucking guy?
It's this guy, Steve.
Hey, you guys want to hear a really cool fact? Truth or dare, truth in myself. Did you know if you take a tarantula and you whisper a sweet little secret to it and then you drop it to the ground so it can never tell anybody, all its little legs go pop, 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 and then they make nice little toothbrushes.
That's wild.
That's
I
Steve.
think if Steve were to hit the floor, this is what he would sound like.
He only has cartoon effects for everything he does.
He's eating all the nachos, and this is what you hear.
And there's a little sound every time he blinks. Ding, 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 ding. Like that little thing every time he
Oh,
blinks.
yeah,
and
let
he
me
doesn't
get
blink
it.
at the same time. His one eye
Yeah,
goes
each
first.
eye blinks separately. That's
I
the noise he
appreciate-
makes when he blinks. And also the noise it makes when he poops, which is fucking crazy.
Oh, yeah. It's a wild time. Don't let Steve use your toilet. I had to buy 3 new ones because of him. He calls it soup. I'm like, no, Steve.
When you get into a party, that's the noise he makes when he wiggles his little fingers. When he's like, some more for Steve.
He also doesn't walk. He does a lot of little baby steps, like tiny little steps. And then
Goes
when
on
he's
his
like,
tiptoes.
yeah, he's like,
Yeah, and
Hey
when
guys,
you put out
it's
a plot of nacho cheese, a plot of nacho cheese. When you lay a plot of nacho cheese for a
Ew.
ripe harvest, he
Yes.
starts floating through the air on the sniffy sounds. I feel like we're doing I feel like every episode we've been doing these like long stories about like what this one guy does.
I know,
while
we-
I play relevant sound effects from my phone.
oh my God. What
got
are
no
we?
faithful.
A British sitcom? Prostitute
Yeah.
cousin of Marjorie. Yeah.
That was wild. Anyway, have we learned anything? I don't think we've really learned anything.
I feel like it was really fun to imagine what these things might look like. And I've never
Yes.
really tried to consider what they looked like. I kind of just went with the whole
Chicken McNugget
Mavis
snake?
from Mavis. Is that? Oh my god, this is really. I'm forgetting everything. Hold on. This is gonna really not have mattered in the end. Maris. It's kind of like I did the whole Maris thing from Frasier, where like she exists, but you never see her on screen ever. That's what I did, and I thought it was really cool to get to see these come to life. I'm not that imaginative to make spooky things like that, so I enjoyed seeing them. Vermicious Canids was 2 thumbs down, but I appreciate the effort, you know. Anyway, yeah, overall, I think it was really fun to get to see what those creatures could look like, and I feel like the horror Wonka film could definitely include some of these additions and creations. I do think at the end of the day, Eliza Thornberry's dad really did hit the mark for Wonka. I thought Lucy Dahl was about to possibly tear up a bit, and I was like, wow, he really did win. I mean, if you get that much praise from someone who's like, I feel like you honored my father, you did it. You know,
seriously,
like, okay,
yeah. So, and then they were like, actually the weird fucking earthworm wins. And I was like, excuse me?
It's like, it's good, but like...
For this? No.
For this? Prequel predictions?
I was going to make a prediction related to like prosthetics or makeup, but like we know Keegan-Michael Key's in prosthetics, so it feels too easy. Like we already know, and that's not fair of me to say. I think that... Let me look at these again for integration. Someone will be dressed in a robe.
Nice.
Perhaps Timmy Wonka for a nice little Tumblr moment.
Oh. He's going to have a little fez and a cigar. A little candy cigar.
Yeah, sure.
I love that. I'm going to
Will someone be on a chaise lounge?
Oh.
Have I made that prediction? I feel like I've made that prediction.
It feels like something you would have said, but I don't think you've actually said it as a prediction. So.
All right. 2 predictions today. Robe and chaise lounge.
Love it. My prediction.
Fainting couch. I think that's also a chaise lounge. Anyway.
Yes. Beautiful. I would like to predict that there will be a sentient plant. So we might have like a tree that comes to life or something, or we might just have a little flower that like interacts, a little vine that might like come do a thing.
So
I think
that's okay,
a moving
but a
plant.
robot isn't.
A moving plant. Sorry, I only hear correct things, so I can't hear what you're saying.
No, that's okay, but a robot isn't? But so...
A robot isn't a sentient plant, indeed.
Okay.
Correct.
Thank you. I'm making a 3rd prediction. Fuck it. I'm not going to remember for next time. Somebody's going to faint.
Okay.
I just some word association away from robe.
I was trying to think. I was like,
lounge to fainting couch to faint.
Yes. Okay.
But I think it's going to happen.
If it happens all in one scene, Felicia, you get an extra 20 points. I don't know what our system is, but if there are points, and if not,
if
you just get 20
faints
points.
On a chaise lounge while in a robe, I win the podcast.
You win. And then the next scene, I'm there like, oh, fuck. In the next scene, there's this fucking seagull that steals a French fry off a boat. I'll be like,
wouldn't it be amazing if somehow either all of your predictions are correct or all of mine are correct, and one of us gets 0.
God, that'd be so funny.
0 correct.
Okay, if there is not a single song lyric that has the word rain in it, fuck this.
Fuck you, Paul King. Fuck you,
if there is not
Chalamet.
A strong timpani presence, you know nothing of music. You know nothing.
Thank you, everybody, for listening to this episode of Wonka. Yeah, that was actually Steve when he gets angry when you don't bring out the nachos for him in time. Thank you, everybody, for listening to this episode of Wonka Watch. What a ride it's been on. If you've enjoyed this episode and you want to follow us, you can check us out on TikTok and Instagram at Wonka Watch. And if you have more obscure, bizarre Wonka-related media to tell us to check us out and send us an email at wonkarapture@gmail.com. You can also support the podcast by going to buymeacoffee.com/wonkawatch. We're still working on the audiobook thing. I'm getting there. The goal's going to be there eventually. It's going to be great.
Excited.
You can contribute on there, and if you donate a little bit to support us, we will sing you a little song. It won't be great, but it will be done.
It'll be something. Felicia?
Yes?
Even though we might not always have our true faces shown, just a little mask of a monster underneath it all when you come to your core self, unfortunately, it's not that important.
And unfortunately, what's under there on your core self? It's Steve, the chicken nacho monster.
Ew.
And he is not that important because I don't like Steve. I don't want to talk
Anybody have
about
a
Steve.
vape?
I'm rescinding him from the Wonka.
Does anybody have any Granny Smith apples?
Can we deny him entry? I don't
love
like
mittens.
this fucking guy. I don't like this guy.
Who has mint floss? I need to floss.
I hate him. I hate this guy.
Yum, 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 yum. I
It's
love
not that important.
butterscotch.
Steve, get out of my house.
Bye.